From the top then. Or maybe not.
Let's just start anew. This is anew. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
We're back after not being here for a week, and it's really nice.
I
I
missed you.
know.
I'm excited you're home.
Me too.
And I'm excited. I feel like we're on kind of a new wave, or at least I'm really trying to be on a new wave.
Me too.
Yeah.
You
like
know,
the
it's
effort
kind
is
of,
there.
Yes, the effort is definitely there. And if anyone can relate to this, it's like when you go on a vacation and you kind of just come back with a clear lens on life.
Yeah. And I want to be able to hold on to that because I
So
think
do
a
I.
lot of times you get back and you're like feeling good and you're all motivated and you're like, hey, let's get it done. And then like a month or not even a month
Not
goes
even a few
by.
days, you forget
Yeah.
how good it felt to be a certain way on vacation. You're like, I'm just going to go back to that same pattern that I was doing.
Yeah.
Not this time.
No, not this time. I refuse. So what I mean by that is like for the past, I don't know, 2 months, we haven't felt like ourselves. Maybe even longer. It comes in waves. It's not consistently not feeling like ourselves. Like there's definitely moments where I feel like, yeah, there she is. That's me. But for the most part, I have been like pretty out of body, which is not very common for me. I feel like I have never really like struggled or never felt off in this kind of way. So this was a very humbling time period for me, and I really want to shake it off and I want to start fresh. And
Yes.
I'm glad that you're kind of in that same boat with me, because I think it's better if we like tackle it together. We can keep ourselves motivated, we can push ourselves and make it happen.
I agree. And I feel honestly like the last 2 months or so, or maybe even 6 months before this 2 months, I feel like I'm literally shedding a layer of myself, like a snake. And it is so uncomfortable. Honestly, it has been very uncomfortable and just horrible at times. But I know that it's going to be worth it. Like you get glimmers of it being worth it and you're like, all right, I can carry on and push through this. So that's a lot of the motivation behind this episode is our positive mental attitude.
Pima, baby.
That's right.
I'll say that like so much has happened in the past 2 months that has not felt good, that is like the main driver for me to get out of my own fucking way, because I understand that the path I've been on is not sustainable, and it's definitely not the person that I want to be. I often think about like, well, how do you actually want to show up and how do you want to feel in your body? It's less about how other people feel around me or like, you know, all of that. It's more so like, what's my experience like as a person? And the past 2 months, it's been okay, but there's been a lot of moments where I'm like, this is not it. And that is not something that I want for myself. So I think it always starts with your mindset. Like it always starts within. And that's when you start to see the shift externally. And that's why I wanted to do this episode and to like just honestly start like fucking fresh. Like I cannot keep expecting me to feel better if I'm not doing the things I know I need to do.
Right. And also just to remind ourselves of why we're even doing any of this. You know, like some days I'll get through a day and I'm just like, if I died tomorrow, I would kind of be bummed out if that's how I ended things, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't want to feel that anymore. And I'm happy that we've been going through the motions of feeling it, because I really don't like to pretend like I'm in a good mood or that I'm really happy in life when I'm not, you know, because I just want to feel it and then push through it, and then you're more resilient and you get on the other side.
Yeah. But okay, here's what I'll say to that is like, I think that it's important to do both, right? I think it's important to feel it. But then for me, it's like, I actually just had to kick my own ass into gear.
Yeah.
And I needed to, like today, it's Monday, right? When we're recording, it's the start of a work week for me. Like there's a lot of moving parts. It's a busy time. And typically that would overwhelm me, but I'm not allowing myself to get there. Like, the reality is we all have to do what we have to do, right? We all have to go to work and we have to handle things. And like, am I going to be the victim of all of this, or can I just like be calm and confident and get it done without it overwhelming me? Like this is kind of the new mindset I'm pushing for myself, because I don't like where I've been these past 2 months. It's not a good feeling.
Yeah, it's a really horrible feeling. And it's funny because obviously we influence each other a lot, and just like being in our household, there's just a vibe in it, and we need to
I'm changing it
change.
up. When Madison got home today, we haven't seen each other in a
A
week.
week.
And when she walked in today, I was like, yeah, welcome home. And only good vibes allowed in here. Like, this is
Yeah.
our new thing. And how long it's going to last, I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're avoiding reality and living in this make believe world. But honestly, I think if you change your mind and you change your outlook on your day to day, only good shit's going to happen from there. And obviously stuff's going to be hard, and obviously you're going to get into certain moods, but like, are you living in that mood is the question.
Right. Yeah. And I was using this example. So I like to, obviously, we use real life examples to kind of define what we're going through. So when I was in New Hampshire this past week, and we were boating and we were wake surfing and wakeboarding, and every time I would fall, like, I'm like a kid, like, I want to get up and go again. And so I feel like that is really relative to like how we are in life. I mean, us personally, because I appreciate falling, because I'm like, all right, well, I'm not going to do that again, you know? And I like our drive to like keep getting up and trying it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just a simple example. I was like, oh, I love that.
Well, okay. And then I can bring it back to like one of my examples is my body is totally experiencing physical manifestations of the stress and turmoil that I've been in mentally. I am not going to do that to my body anymore. And I think, unfortunately for me, sometimes I push it to quite literally a breaking point before I realize I need to make a change. And that you can't do anymore. You have to start setting up changes before you get to the breaking point.
Yes.
Because to me, it's almost like I see how far I can be pushed before I'm like, oh my God, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, because then it's really hard to get back to that equilibrium that you want so badly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with all of that said, I feel like the best way for me to get back to a positive state of mind and just like an overall general sense of happiness and ease again is not only making the conscious decision to feel that way, because I do think it's a decision. You do choose, in a sense, you do choose your thoughts and your emotions. Like, am I going to lean into a certain feeling and like sit in my shit, or am I going to pull myself out of it and keep going? Some days it's easier than others, but right now I'm like, fuck it. I'm kicking it into high gear. I got to do what I got to do.
Right.
So today I woke up and I was like, everything you do today is going to be done with ease. Nothing's going to overwhelm you. Even if shit gets wild, you're just going to ride with it. And mainly it's about my energy. Like, how am I going to feel when I'm getting ready in the morning? How am I going to feel when I'm interacting with people or when I'm answering emails? Like, how am I going to be?
Right.
And I chose differently today than I have chosen in the past, 2 months. And I got to say, shit got easier. Like, my normal shit that I do was a breeze today. And it wasn't any less intense or any less work. In fact, it was maybe even more than what I normally do. And my mentality just, it made it fly by, and like, it wasn't that hard. And so for me, it's like, okay, I'm choosing the mindset.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. I was just thinking about when you were saying that, because I think it's definitely important to set an intention during the day. Dude, any little bug.
How is there a bug in here?
It's an ant. That's okay.
No, that's going to trigger me. We've had an ant problem. She hasn't been
Dude,
here.
In the summer, that shit happens.
Yeah, well, we've had an ant problem, and guess who's been home to take care of it? Me.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate
This is now the third spawn.
It's just sickening, honestly.
Thanks
I'm
for
sorry, I
putting
had to put it on your floor. Like, it's
okay.
better than putting it on your bed.
You're right.
Well, so I think setting an intention at the beginning of your day is really important, because at least you can always come back to that when you feel like you're not in alignment with it.
Yep.
And then it brings me back to, I don't even know if we said this on an episode or maybe we were just talking about it, is like reminding yourselves of the bigger picture of things, because your day to day can be just a drag for like months on end. Sometimes, like, that just happens.
Yeah.
But if I think about the bigger picture, I'm like, all right, this, like, I am taking intentional steps forward to where I want to be. And then I'm not that upset anymore. But yeah, I also think it's kind of like common sense, but sometimes you just like, you don't have common sense. Some people just, they don't got it. Some days I don't. But focusing for me on, because I think like at every stage in our lives that there is going to be moments of things that we just don't like,
Mm-hmm.
like at all times.
Mm-hmm.
So why am I, like you were saying, I don't need to choose to focus on those quote unquote bad moments and those bad things. Like there
Major.
obviously are always good things that are with the bad.
Yeah.
So why am I focusing on the bad?
Yeah.
My brain literally just goes there.
Okay, but as we've learned, because we recently both read, did you finish the book yet?
No.
There's this book called Your Brain on Love, and I just finished it. Mad's reading it right now. And something they talk about in the book is like the chemistry of our brain. And our brain, in a sense, is programmed to go to war, not necessarily to love. Like we naturally pick up on negativity. It's easier to focus on not great memories. Like all of those things are natural. So I don't think that it's like a you thing. I think that it's everyone. Like it's much easier, for example, everyone knows this, right? It's much easier to fixate on a negative comment or review made by someone on your podcast,
right?
than it is like all those other ones, that those messages that we get like in support of Cowboys and they're loving it and relating to it. Like it's so much easier to be like, I can't believe that person, like word for word, it's stored in my brain.
Right. So true.
Come on.
Yeah.
So it's just normal.
It is normal, and we're trying to break that because I think that we're also just we're very uncommon people. So
I'd like to think.
I think so. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But to change our thought patterns and just focus more so on the good.
Yeah. And something that my mom left me with, like a little bit of advice, was because obviously, like as I've explained to you, it hasn't been great in my headspace recently. Like it's just not, and I'm not used to that. So I really don't have, like I have tools that I've recommended to others, but I've never put those into practice myself. So I was leaning on my mom and she's like, you know what? You got to like just stop yourself right here, because you are going to spiral if you keep fixating on what you don't like, what's not working. Like it's important to see those things and recognize them for what they are. But if you fixate on it, you're not going to get out of this.
No.
You need to start focusing on what you do like.
Yeah, because I also think that if we focus on what we do like, then we're essentially attracting and hopefully creating more of that.
Yeah. As they would say, right? Like you're like lining up with the energy better.
Yeah.
So something we used to do a lot on the pod, Instagram, is Cowboy Pima.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically positive mental attitude, right? And the way that we put our spin on it is we ask, what's one good thing happening in your life right now, or that has recently happened in your life? And I posted it on our Instagram and we got some really cute responses. I'm not going to share them, but if you like this prompt, definitely make sure that you're following the podcast, because we are going to reintroduce it more regularly.
Like literally every week.
Yeah. And
like,
I
I almost want to start doing it even on each episode.
I know, because what it does is it redirects you into how you're evaluating your life. And you do go back and you realize, oh shit, good things have happened for me recently.
Yeah. A lot of good things.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about, I feel like for me, yes, I can focus on events of like, oh, I got to go to New Hampshire and spend time with my family. But I was also a big theme recently is just, I'm so grateful for like our freedom to choose things. Like we're so fucking lucky in that regard.
Yeah.
And I think about that almost every day. And I'm like, okay, we have such an opportunity to create the life that we want. Mm-hmm. So to focus on the negative things is actually just, it's so stupid.
You know what I'm going to say about it? It's a waste of fucking time.
Yeah, it is.
Like way to take all the resources you have available and chuck them out the window.
Right.
Because you're not taking advantage of it.
That's right.
That's so, yeah, you can't do that.
No.
So this is like our kick in our own ass for this.
Yeah. And these are principles that we know and that we have previously lived by. It's just there was a cloud over us too for the last 6 months or so.
Yeah, but that shit's gonna happen to all of us, right? And so you need to remind yourself, you need to stop and be like, what am I getting myself into? Like, am I veering off of the path of who I want to be and how I want to show up? Mm-hmm. My answer for the past few months is, yeah, you were. And guess what? You're gonna have to redirect.
Yeah, and how lucky we are that we have realized that.
Yeah. So can we get into just a few Cowboy Pimas right now? Can we list off maybe just a few of things that have happened in our lives recently that feel good.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you
Because
want to go first?
do you not have anything?
No, I do have a lot of things.
Oh,
but,
let's go. No, I want to hear from you. You don't have to
well,
list them like one by one. We can switch off if you want, but like what's one thing that's been going well or that's good that happened? Blinking.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many things because it's like how big or small do I want to go with
All
it?
of it is valid.
I mean, I'm actually just happy for like this transformation that's happening.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that it is very important, and like I was saying at the beginning of this episode is I'm shedding off a layer of dead skin that no longer serves me, and that feels really good. Like I feel like I'm overcoming, like I'm getting over the hump of it.
Yep.
So I'm like, okay, I need to start getting back into the mindset of that I can create my reality, and with that in mind that we have so much opportunity, that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Like who the fuck knows what the next 3 months is going to look like, you know?
Yeah.
So I would say that's one.
Well, that's definitely part of my whole thing these days too, of like what I'm grateful for is this has been a dark fucking night. Like I'm just gonna call it what it is.
Yeah.
Like this has not been a fun period, right? And I've just talked your ear off about that. But what I'm grateful for is the fact that that darkness has made me reevaluate what's happening and given me perspective on like, okay, you need to check yourself and get back in line. What needs to change?
Yes. And it's also opening my eyes to what I really want in life.
Yeah.
And I have the drive to pivot where necessary to make those things happen.
Yeah. Like last night I was at the beach journaling, which wow,
Oh
I
my
journaled. I know.
God.
I was just like,
That's so cute.
again, I'm really putting an effort to realign. Like I've gotten up every morning, I've moved my body, I've like cleaned out my closet, I'm going on walks and I'm going to the beach. Like I'm trying to take advantage of the great things in my life and all of these opportunities. So when I was journaling last night, I was writing down like, well, what is my vision of myself? Like, how do I actually want to be? And for me, a lot that kept coming up was like, I want to be warm and a sense of calm confidence. Like I want to be able to have things come my way and me not to be reactive. I want to be like the calm in the storm, reliable for myself, reliable for others. Like I don't want my energy to change based on all of these external factors. Like I want to stay really steady in who I am and how I show up, that not a whole lot can knock me off kilter.
I like that. Love it.
So yeah, that's one thing is like, okay, I've had to dig deep and get some tools involved and figure out what I want to do going forward.
Yeah, and I also think that it's really fun to try a lot of different things. Like when what was working for you before is no longer satisfying who you want to be, you just have to pull out all the stops. Like you're like, all right, I'm going to go to the beach and journal.
Yep.
You know, like something I would never do a year ago or 3 months ago. So I think that is pretty fucking awesome.
Dude, you got to try it all.
Yeah. There's just a lot of things. I just really want to live as intentionally as possible.
Yeah.
With the idea in mind that who knows how long we'll be living this life.
I know.
So that is seriously such a valuable thought in my brain.
Sorry, my back's starting to feel
Yeah,
funny.
I know.
Yeah.
When you're sitting on a bed and you're trying to have nice posture, but your
Can I just do
hips
it from
and your
here?
ass are sinking into the mattress.
This is so much more comfortable, but this
We're
is
figuring
not
out
a good
where we're trying
angle,
to
but
record.
okay.
And it's gonna work out.
All right. Anything else for Pima? I mean, I have so many things, right? Like,
Yeah, did you even say yours?
yeah, that I've just been, I don't know what the fuck I said. You heard it though. Didn't
Yeah, it was really great what you said. So we were talking about this earlier. I think something for both of us is we have such great people in our network and in our corner. Like that seriously connection with other human beings that you love and motivate you to be better.
Yeah.
That is a key to a happy life, honestly. In my opinion, that really just pushes me to live the best that I can.
You know who just came to mind?
Who?
Maria.
Love you, Maria.
I know. There's so many people that I could list off, but like top of my mind,
absolutely.
I texted her last night. I'm like, dude, I fucking miss you right now. I just like, we have
Maria,
good people.
Literally, we gotta hang out. I don't even know if you're in America right now, but
she's not. She's in England.
All right, next time you're back. But I even think to like the smallest degree of my dad's gate guard, Mike. Oh. I saw him today before I left to come here, and he is just the most supportive human being.
Yeah,
even though we've only had however many
brief encounters. Yeah.
But just so stoked on us. Literally says like, love you guys. Hope you're doing well. Like that shit. I'm just like, this is why you live life. Like, I do want to have coffee with this complete stranger that comes to my class, you know? Like, I just want to fucking talk to people all the time. And like hear about your life and how can we collectively make this world a better place.
Yep.
So there's just a lot to look forward to. And also I think it's comforting to know that everything is temporary. Like sometimes that's a sad thought because if you're having really good times, you're like, this is going to change. All right. Yeah. Better enjoy it. Yeah. But also during the bad times, that's also going to change too. So thank God for that. Thank God.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that we can just really marinate in all that.
Yeah.
What was said. I think that was just solid.
We just have the opportunity to choose different, to think different, and that we have love and support around us.
Right. And
even from
really
you
take
guys,
advantage of that. Yeah.
Like, let it be known that one of you, well, there's been a few messages recently that have like fucking rocked my world, right? Like,
totally. Like we'll literally be looking at each other on the brink of tears because we're
I'll cry right now. There was
I can cry so easily these days. It's
I know. I don't know if that says that I'm like unstable or what, but I think I'm just really grateful. Like, okay, there was one, I don't know if it wasn't last week because you were gone, but just a few days ago, someone sent in a video.
Keone. Yeah.
Keone, I wasn't going to say her name, but Keone, thank you so much. Out. Like I actually cried.
We really needed that because we were just we were in the dumps, you know?
Yeah.
And just like, we're essentially talking obviously with each other, which is great, but we're talking to a camera. There's no one on the other side. Like we're talking into mic. So to feel that connection from someone who listens weekly or maybe once a month, whatever it is so amazing.
Yeah. God bless technology. Someone that I was talking to this weekend was like, oh, I'm not really a podcast kind of gal. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Like there's a lot of things that I don't consider myself. Like I'm not really into like action movies or like, you know, like I don't really watch true crime and stuff like that. But for me, being a communications, I don't know, obsessed person.
Yes.
Podcast is where it's at. I'm like, oh my God, community, a sense of a peace of mind because other people out there are having these types of conversations and making me feel less alone and like, okay, this is all a part of the human experience.
Yeah. And most of the time, the people that I hear on podcasts, I don't have access to those people.
Yes.
They don't live in my state or I'm not friends with them. Yeah. So it's really fun. It's like you're literally a fly on the wall. And I've always wanted to be that. I mean, not always, but you know.
She's like, in my next life.
A fly on the wall, that's it. No, that would suck. Your lifespan is like
4 days.
Yeah.
Fuck, you go from a maggot to a fly.
40 years in their timeline.
All right. Well.
With that in mind.
I gotta go because I gotta teach some classes. But
all right,
you guys, thank you
for listening.
This was a great kick in the ass. I feel like we could all, even if you've been like pretty decent, I think it's important just to every once in a while reevaluate and go, fuck, how am I doing this right now? Like, is this is this making me happy? And not even the external circumstances. I'm not talking about like, oh, these variables need to change because that can come at a later date. But how are you choosing to live every single day?
Right.
What's your dialogue like in your head? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm working on. So maybe that's what you can work on too if you're in my same position. It starts within, I think, and then external factors line up.
Yeah, I would fully agree with that. Just keeping the energy as high as possible. As much as you can.
Amen. Madison, thank you for coming home to me.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for being here still.
Yeah. Cowboys, if you made it this far, we love you. Thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, hey, make sure you have subscribed to the podcast everywhere you're listening.
Yes.
Leave reviews. Those help immensely. if you guys want the cowboy community to grow, people who are stumbling upon it need to see that other people like it. That's it.
Right.
Like
it
I
really
go on Yelp.
convinces people.
I read reviews of shit. That's what I mean, I lean into that. So that's why I ask you humbly and politely for a nice review. If you are an avid listener, it really makes a difference for people.
Yes, agreed. And also, lastly, message us on Instagram.
Make me cry again.
Yeah, exactly. Just say hi, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a what's up, because sometimes you feel like you're talking into the abyss.
Yeah, because if you feel like you need it, odds are we also need it. So
True.
let's just help each other out.
All right, you guys, until next week.
Talk soon.
And thanks for being patient last week while we were gone. We love you so much. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.